What's up, you guys? I'm B.Simone.
And I'm Megan Ashley.
And welcome to the Know For Sure podcast, where we talk about healing, growing, evolving, and having the tough conversations.
Yes, and we also talk about relationships, not just romantic relationships, but platonic relationships.
Like the relationship I have with my best friend, Megan Ashley, of 20 years.
20 years, baby.
Yes, baby. Do you know for sure?
I think I know for sure, but what I do know for sure is after this episode, you're going to know something for sure.
All right, you guys, we're back with part two.
Part 2.
With our team. Last week, we were in Cabo. This week, we're in Cabo again. JNF and Shekinah. We brought the team back. Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Hi. I'm B.Simone.
And I'm Megan Ashley.
And we're back.
I don't have a voice.
My voice.
I know, I was about to join in, but I'm like, I'm so hoarse right now. It's about to be terrible.
She can sing.
Not today.
Go, Frank.
No. Thank you.
We're back in Cabo. We invited our team back because we're still off of the high from the live show. Kinda. And, you know, we've been reminiscing our first team trip. How do you guys feel?
It's been great.
So nice.
I feel like I was talking to Jesse earlier, my fiance, and he's like, I can't believe you've been gone since Monday. And it's Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's a whole week. And I feel like the live show was yesterday.
It flew by.
It flew by. And I feel like this entire trip, even though it was a vacation, has very much, like, I can't imagine us not doing this, not necessarily like the travel and like being in Cabo, but having that time together to be able to have those like organic conversations and talk about the improvements in a way that we have time to think about it. And it's not so, okay, let's sit down and get like, because
We're not
so
setting up
much,
a conference call. It's just
like
organic.
so much
Yeah.
has happened that there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
And we should have been recording the whole time.
But
here we are.
Podcast conversation.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yes.
Get close to the mic, kind of. I just want to make sure they hear your audio.
So far away.
But yeah, what about you, kind of? How do you feel?
I feel overwhelmed in a good way. Like it was so good, and I feel like we set the bar so high and overwhelmed in that sense. Like the bar has been set here, and now we have to continue that, which is great. You know, it always gives us something to go for and to achieve higher. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we will though. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, for
with
sure.
what we've done. I mean, obviously we knew that when we did it. We were like, we can't go backwards. We're saying we're about to have all these activations, do all this stuff, all these. Now we like
Yeah.
keep doing
You got to do it.
Yeah.
no takes
We have to
backs.
keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
So this is our first team trip, you guys. We wanted to take our team on a trip, so we brought everybody that was involved. Well, they've been involved for how many years?
Probably
I don't
like
know that.
4,
5 years.
5.
Shekinah's been going on
A year.
a year
Yeah.
soon. But that's been involved since day one. We brought the cool kids, so everybody's here on the trip.
It's been so nice.
Y'all want to do the recap of the show?
Yeah.
Sure.
Of how you
First,
feel
thank
about
you
it?
guys for even taking your team on a trip.
Absolutely.
That people don't get that experience from
Yeah.
their bosses or whatever. So thank you guys for just believing in us and, you know,
And
championing
pouring
us along
into
the way,
us.
pouring into
Yeah.
us, and then allowing us, because you guys could have came on this trip alone and
Yeah.
didn't include us. So thank you.
And Megan was so adamant about that. She was like, we promised them a trip. I'm like, it's fine. They won't
Yeah.
be disappointed. She was like, no, like, I would
No,
be
she
disappointed.
did.
Like, we
Yeah.
promised them a trip. We need to, you know, I was like, we could go to Vegas. She was like, we did not tell them we were taking them to Vegas.
We said we were going
You know,
to.
yeah. I'm like, okay. You know, but I'm glad we, like, made it happen.
Yeah.
Because I was like, they'll be fine. They won't care.
I mean,
like,
honestly, I
wouldn't
wouldn't
have.
have.
I know.
Because
Yeah.
like we would understand, you know,
no,
like
for sure,
if something isn't possible or it's not going to work or feel good, like we wouldn't want to do it anyways.
But
you know?
I think us making it work and follow through, like, because it was a lot of pressure and
so much.
just a lot, like
Yeah.
putting the parts together to do this.
Yeah.
She kind of worked it out with the travel agent, but making it happen and not just going to Miami
Right.
has been worth it.
Yeah.
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 This was like an experience.
For sure.
Another experience.
The experiences haven't stopped. And
Right.
I'm like, what is happening? We're recording another podcast. So, like every day there has been something, and I love that I don't know that we did it yesterday, but I love that we set the intention that day that we did our first activities.
Yeah.
And we said the goal is to be present.
Yeah.
And we were so present. We were on camels.
Yeah.
And you couldn't have a phone.
Yeah.
All we could hear, the content.
Nuts.
Oof, I look insane.
I was really
I'm on the camel. Megan's hair is flowing in the wind. Jazz looks like Arabian Nights. And then you get to me, I'm like, because I'm not an activity person, okay? But I wanted to do it with y'all, so I loved it. Yeah,
I loved the four-wheelers.
The four-wheelers were so fun.
That was my
fun.
favorite.
The what?
Four-wheelers.
Kinda. Nobody is gonna hear you on this episode.
ATV was so fun.
I love the ATV.
But I was scared to drive it. I was like, I'm not driving.
Yeah, you rode with Natalia.
No,
Jazz
my
started
wrist-
driving and then her
My
wrist
wrist
gave out.
started cramping from holding on the whole time that I was like, nah.
When she got on the front,
This is what I
after
brought.
like 2 minutes, she drove us into the side of like a ditch. And I'm
Well, I
like,
didn't want to hurt my hand.
yeah. And I was like, what happened?
I mean, I did it slowly and carefully, but I was like, my hand, like the bone that I broke in my hand was my thumb. And like that position
Yeah.
to push it was
I mean,
the
it was
whole
hurting
time.
me so
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So I could imagine you.
I hit
It started
Megan.
cramping and I was like, yeah.
She was like, we're going into the mountain.
Right.
I definitely rear-ended Megan. She turned around like, I was like,
It's like, it's not bumper cars.
I thought he was yelling at you guys to keep distance.
He for sure.
He kept
well,
stopping.
he was so mad at us. I was
Yeah.
like,
He
I just
was
wanted to
so
get on the
annoyed.
side of her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're not allowed to. Okay. He said, follow the rules.
It was fun. That was fun. We did those activities. And today we're actually leaving this Airbnb. Y'all are leaving. Oh, y'all are going to come with us, though.
We're coming to
For a
the
little bit.
Yeah, for a
hotel,
little bit.
I think we're leaving.
Yeah, we're going to go to a resort. Garza Blanca.
I think it's important though to travel with your team because of how much our lives are with each other. You're able to know your people outside of a work environment that also helps you in the work environment.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things that we were able to, talk through, especially last night, that I just think that wouldn't have happened had we not made it an intention to do a team trip. That opportunity probably wouldn't have presented itself, or it would have presented itself when it wasn't appropriate to have the conversation. And so making the intention of doing things as a team, especially if you want your team to last and it be the same people, you want the longevity of that, and it has to be more than more than work.
Yeah.
You know
It has
what
to
I
be
mean?
some type of personal relationship.
Because now I can now that I see you outside of this environment, there's a different level of grace that you have for people when you see them outside of just one environment. You know what I mean? Like you're able to consider the whole person.
the full picture.
But I feel like that's not common.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
Everyone
We're
can't do
doing
that.
something that
Yeah.
people don't do, that people tell you not to do.
For sure.
So people, especially like, it's one thing as a business partner. It's one thing to be friends with your business partner. It's another thing to be friends and have relationships with the people you work with.
Yeah.
And I think that last night was.
Sorry, can we shut that door up there?
Oh, it's wide open. It looks pretty though.
I know. It is. You can see
And
the
like,
mountains.
I want one of those doors.
That is a heavy, big door. Thank you. Sorry, Jazz, you can go ahead.
No worries. I think that what we're doing and how we're doing it is so different. And last night, as an example, we were all in the jacuzzi and it got heated. It got a little,
Literally
little
and
toasty. Literally and figuratively. But I think like all of us wanted to get to a resolution of understanding each other. And I think to your point, and I know you guys say this all the time, know your person, but in this group setting, we are learning everyone and we're learning, and it's a continuous thing. Like there's still things that Frankie and I learn about each other all the time. And we might have been able to communicate one way and then we've adapted and we've changed. And now, you know what? Actually, that doesn't work for me anymore. I need this.
Yeah.
Or I'm feeling this way. I don't know what I need, but I'm letting you know that I don't know what I know.
Or what I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we did last night. We
Yeah.
got to like go deeper, I think, than we've ever gone before.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a group for sure.
Yeah.
And that's healthy though. And like
It
you
was
were saying,
super healthy.
Learning about Frankie, with Megan, she's like, in this season, I need this. Like I might have not needed that from you a year ago, but I think you're really good at that. Like in this season, I need gentleness. I think that was one of the words you used recently. But in each season, it might be something different, and just sharing that with your person.
I think my biggest like thing that I was trying to get across last night is that we're all experiencing, and there are no hierarchies of the experience. It's just we're all experiencing, and I'm trying to be a person that wants to consider and be aware of my people in all ways. Because you know how you were saying, like, this isn't working for me right now. Like this, I know I might have needed this in this season, but it's not working for me. But I also want to have the awareness when it's not working for my friend, and maybe she doesn't even know it's not working for her. Do you know what I'm saying? I want it to be both. I want to be able to be like, that usually does something for you, and it hasn't been doing anything for you, and I've noticed that, and maybe you don't even notice it, but I'm noticing it. You know, I want it to be both. I want there to be a level of both. Yes, be accountable for yourself, but also be aware of your people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Communication.
Yeah.
I think communication is so crucial in any relationship.
Yeah.
And being able to articulate how you're feeling and what your experience is important, because we talked about this last night. When one person is trying to have or share their experience, but you don't understand their experience, you two are on, you're having two separate conversations, because we're worried about, well, this person doesn't understand my experience and that person doesn't understand your experience. But if you get to a place of understanding that, all you have to do is communicate that. Right. We're not always going to be able to, I'm not going to know B needs me to be this way today, and I need to pour into her this way, I need to pour into Megan this way, I need to pour into Shekinah and Frankie this way. Like, we're not going to always be able to do that. Yeah. But as long as we make the effort and communicate, then it gives the other person the opportunity to let you know that didn't work for me.
Yeah. Or like you're saying, understanding each other's experience, even if I don't understand it. I'm trying to.
I think validating it.
Validating is huge.
You might not
Acknowledging
understand.
Yes.
Like I might not
Acknowledging,
understand exactly how that feels, but I can say, like, how you're feeling right now is 1,000% valid.
Yeah. It's valid.
And I
That's
hear
the
you.
word, valid.
And sometimes that's all you
Validating
need.
it.
Yeah.
I just think I think communication is extremely important, but I also am learning that awareness is like key. Like the awareness of yourself and the awareness of the other person, because sometimes we can communicate without even being aware of what is even happening right now. I'm just saying how I feel, or I'm just addressing something without taking a moment to be even aware of what just happened. Why am I feeling this way?
100%.
Like,
What is this person feeling?
Yeah, I
But
think
we just wanna
awareness comes
communicate.
first,
Yes,
and then
that's what I'm saying.
communication.
But if we don't practice awareness,
And then
your
validation.
communication, you'll miss it.
Yeah,
if
and
you
could
don't
end up
have
hurting
awareness.
someone 'cause
Yeah.
you're just
Or
like,
you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not even taking time to.
You're not taking the
know.
time to consider, I think, is the thing.
Yeah.
And maybe because I'm such a question person, asking questions is like, okay, so like
How you build your awareness.
Yeah, well, and then it leads to understanding. Like when me and B got into it, we didn't really get into it, but on the podcast in Miami, and she was just not in the mood. I spent 2 hours asking her questions. I didn't stop asking until we got to some level of understanding. Like I just kept asking and asking. I'm like, and I even said, if I'm asking too much, is this bothering you that I'm asking questions? Because I'm just trying to understand without assuming. I didn't want to assume anything. I just want to ask.
Yeah.
And sometimes just asking and just keep asking and keep asking. And I'm a mom, so I do that with my kids to try to build their vocabulary. So it's helped me in relationships just to keep asking questions.
And you were like, well, when's the last time you felt like that?
Yeah.
Or,
When's the last
It
time
helps
you felt this way?
Yeah.
And like, you know, can you picture yourself the last time you felt that? Or do you remember when that left you? Or does this bother you? Or what does that make, how does it make you feel? Because sometimes your person may not know. They may not know. And I don't think we give.
Again, a different experience. Like we talked about last night. questions for you are like a good thing. For me, growing up, questions were like a lack of trust. Like, don't ask too many questions. Like, you do as I say, you know? And so for me, questions make me feel like you don't trust me, or make me feel, it's like a trigger for me a little bit. So everyone's experience is completely different, even in something small as a question.
Right,
You know?
right.
Yeah. And I think the maturity of it and the growth of it all, and like the journey, is being able to know that that's a trigger for me, but I also know that you're not triggered. Like, it's not because of you. I'm triggered because of my experience.
Exactly.
And
Not
I'm
the
also
person.
thinking about how this interaction might have triggered them as well. So I'm still validating my own experience, but I'm also considering the fact that that person is having a totally different experience.
Right.
And they're valid too. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It takes you out of it. You know what I mean? In a way, it makes you have
Look
more
at
of an
both.
objective
Yeah.
view, and you decrease the impact of offense when you do that.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
that I think it's important for people to know and take away that things can coexist. 2 experiences,
Yeah.
5 experiences. We all were in the jacuzzi and we had 12 different experiences.
Yeah.
Every
Different
single
points of
one
view,
of us
yeah.
felt differently, took things differently. Like, yes, we were empathetic to what was happening, but we all had a different perspective, and they were all valid, and they all could coexist at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of the times, friendships, relationships, someone always has to be right and someone always has to be wrong.
Right, and it
And
doesn't
that's
have to
not
be
how
that
that
way.
works.
Yeah.
You can, just because you might have said something that was wrong, doesn't mean that you are wrong in your experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all valid.
And even if I said that last night, just being in the, nobody got up. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we all
we
worked
were
through
like,
it.
you know, proving our points, but nobody walked away. Nobody said, fuck this, I'm done talking.
Right,
Nobody was,
right.
we kept talking until
We got to a
it all
solution,
came
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like, women don't do that. Like,
Yeah.
We
And
diffused
without,
it.
and without disrespecting each other.
other,
I mean,
right.
we might have impacted each other in a way where it's like that it didn't feel good or whatever,
Yeah.
but it wasn't we never disrespected each other.
Yeah.
There wasn't like fuck you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was more of like, it was literally like sisters having an argument.
It was
at
so
the dinner
healthy
table.
though.
It
Like,
was,
I mean,
you know.
there were, the beginning of it was,
and we were drinking.
heated.
I mean, we were drinking. So
Yeah.
I mean, that
Right.
played a
We were
place.
drinking.
yeah, it
played
was
a
like
role.
heated, but
Added
then
to the fire.
then it was like, okay, I
it
think
was still healthy though.
yeah, but I think once everyone realized that everyone was having a different experience and that people didn't feel like they were being heard or understood, then I think that's where it started to diffuse, because it was like, okay, let's take inventory of what everyone's experience was and give everyone the opportunity to feel heard and feel seen and feel understood, so that we know how to push this conversation forward. And I think once we did that, we got to a place of like, okay, so you need this from me, and I'm not
Right.
doing this.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody's common goal is to figure it out.
Exactly.
Like, we wanted to understand each other.
Exactly.
You know
I
what
think
mean?
once we realized that like for me in that moment, I was like, if we don't have this conversation now, even though it came up in an uncomfortable way, if we don't have it now, it will come up later. Because whatever that was needed to be
It has
worked
to come out. Yeah.
For sure.
So if we didn't have it now, okay, sorry, like, okay, we're offended right now, but like
Yeah.
we got to get through
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Like we don't have time to have this conversation
To let
when
things
there's
linger.
billion-dollar contracts on the
Yep.
table.
Yep.
Exactly.
We need to be able to sit in this hot tub and have this conversation and work it out, because then when we get to a boardroom and we're standing at a boardroom table, we're a united front
Yep.
because we've
Exactly.
worked
We've
our
already
shit out
been through
privately.
it.
Yeah.
And
You
you're
know
not
what I
like
mean?
holding on to
Yep.
things that you don't
Exactly.
feel like were
Yeah.
hashed
Exactly.
out, or like
Yeah.
it just kind of builds up this resentment.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm the same way too, and like probably annoys Frankie sometimes, but like I can't let something go until I feel like we've resolved it.
Yeah.
I can't like, I don't want to do like Frankie sometimes is like, I'm done dealing with this, so like we're good, and I'm like, but I'm not good.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like
not-
that too. I
that's-
used to be more like that, and I'm not anymore.
'Cause
And I don't
also
think
I'm like,
that's my natural
I
state.
just need some
but-
time to process. And like I
Same.
feel
Yeah.
like Jazz is like immediately is like
That's how I am.
we
I
talk about it
process
right
in
this
real
second.
time.
Well,
Yeah.
Megan is you, and I feel like I'm Jazz.
Yeah,
more
I'm
so
like,
now.
I'm more
yeah.
Frankie.
I'm like,
I
I
used
wanna
to be
think
very much
through.
like.
Oh, wow.
I used to be like that in relationships.
Oh,
like
wow.
especially like in my marriage, I was
yeah,
like
you're
that.
I'm about to say,
Like,
did I experience that with you? No, or more? I feel like I experienced
No.
more process person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
think lately
Yeah.
in the last like 3 years, I've been more like, especially after 2021, I was more like,
Internalizing.
let me just
Process it. Yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, let me process this, because if I didn't, I know that in a moment of like trying to work things out, I can hurt you in my approach.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to do that, so I'd rather just be quiet, because if I go off, it's gonna come across in a way that it's not really my intent, but that's just my
How I
level
feel
of
in
how
that moment.
my level of intensity.
It's a more emotional
it's gonna be more
delivery
emotional
versus like giving yourself a
yeah.
second.
I mean,
to
I would
like,
never come out of pocket and disrespect
Yeah.
anybody. I'm not like that, unless you make me come out of pocket. As far as like
Getting to that point.
yeah, if somebody disrespected somebody I love, I'm out of pocket with you. I'm going off.
Yeah,
but like in the people that I love, I don't go out of pocket in that way.
Yeah.
But my tone, I know my tone can still bite. It stings, even though my heart is like, I love you. Like, I'm trying to figure this out. But my tone is like, yo, like, it's like that. Stop fucking playing with me. Like, are we doing it? Like, it's
What are we
that
doing?
type of vibe.
And like
it's
you're
not-
there was no change in those 2 sentences.
Yeah.
right. It's
But
like,
now my awareness, because of last night, I can be more aware and conscious of it.
Yeah.
Where previously I was like, I don't know, everything's okay.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but what I think, because like you and I are the same way, like last night I would have not been okay ending the conversation without feeling
to a
like we got to a resolution.
Yeah.
Because then it felt like, or it feels like when things like that happen, then it comes back up.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And
it
then you
does.
start over.
Yeah.
So that's where, for me, I want to see things through, and I thankfully am able to process things in real time.
Yeah.
And I can like pause, process, and then try to articulate what I'm feeling, and also try to validate others' experiences and communicate, well, I experienced this way. Was that the intention? Because that was the impact.
I think when I take too long to process, I don't care no more.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
I'm like, that don't even bother me no more. But it's like, we didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come back up.
Right.
Do you feel like you actually let it go in the moment, and it just, you have been able to put it somewhere else? Or do you feel like,
I feel like
I for sure
I don't know.
I feel like it goes back to that like forgiveness thing.
it's
like,
gonna
with
come back
your-
up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when we talked about with your mom, you were like, I thought I did that. Like I thought I forgave. And then when something triggers it, it's like, why do I feel this way? Well, then I haven't really
Addressed it.
because it is it's an ongoing thing. Like it's a journey. It doesn't just happen in that moment. You have to continue to do it. You don't just love somebody once. You have to continue to love
doing
them.
it. Yeah.
You have to continue to communicate, continue to be aware, continue to
Yeah.
forgive,
It's a
continue to
practice.
understand.
It's a practice.
Yeah, it's just like this thing that has to always happen.
Yeah. Right.
But I think that we get caught up in this like, I did it once and that's supposed to sustain me for the entirety of this relationship.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
Yeah.
I have to be open to always learning this person, and as if they're it's a new chapter every day. You know what I mean? Because if not, then you get complacent, and then you're not in the practice of it, and then something happens, and it's like you said, we got to start all over again.
Yeah.
It's like now it's like now we have to rehash this out, instead of being like, okay, we had this conversation. I'm aware, and I'm going to carry this awareness with me throughout the entirety of our relationship.
And I've been practicing it, so it's easier and easier.
Yeah. I just think that a lot of things were, last night were there are a lot of things that I said out loud that I haven't said out loud.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, that was helpful in the way, because everybody was like, are we all good? And I'm like, yeah, because I know that I said it.
Right.
So like at least it's been said, and so
Right.
whatever anyone chooses to do with that, it's on them.
Their
But
choice,
at least I
yeah.
said,
Yeah.
you can't say that you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
big
doing,
on
I
that.
was doing
Yeah.
my makeup this morning.
Kind of,
and
you have to talk in the mic, baby.
I was
You
doing
should just hold it.
Yeah. At this point,
like how?
we just want to make sure they hear you.
Just
Forget
hold it
it.
like
Just
this.
lean it.
yeah,
Yeah.
just sit up.
No, I was saying, like, I was doing my makeup this morning, and I was thinking about the conversation, and God was just like, I already like pinpointed this in you. Like, even what Megan was telling me last night, like, it was a moment, I think a few months ago, where I remember telling Sean, like exaggerating. You kind of just like you just exaggerate or whatever. But God literally was like trying to deal with me about it, and I was talking through it with my husband, and I kind of just like
brushed it
brushed
to the
it
wayside.
off.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, like God will use your friends to bring those things back up, and in a safe environment where you can like
Yeah.
work through it. Because I think even when God showed me, I got frustrated in the process of trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and it sometimes can come off as excuses, or you're pointing the blame, or you're saying, oh, it's from my family line, or whatever. It can sound like excuses.
And that could be a reason.
Yeah,
That's a
but,
reason,
I think it's a reason, but then there is some like self-evaluation that you also have accountability
Yeah.
that you have to take as well. But I think it stung last night because I didn't even remember that God like even was working on me with that, but I think it stung in the sense of really not understanding like the why.
Why?
Yeah. And
Why?
it like made me mad this morning because I'm like, damn, like I was trying to do the work and got frustrated in doing the work and trying to figure out why, and then I had to come up with the whole why in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
I think that that's the thing that like we should be okay with, is that the
but I
environment
needed y'all to
isn't.
help me process through the why. Like I
Right.
couldn't do it on my own. I tried.
That's what I was
I'm
saying.
like,
I
but
was like, maybe she doesn't even know.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I think that the environment can still be a safe place even though it's uncomfortable. And I think that sometimes people feel uncomfortable and it's like, well, I'm not safe. And it's like, no, you're safe here. This is just uncomfortable. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to feel good for it to be safe.
But also,
Do you know
the
what I
first
mean?
time that you experience that, you don't necessarily know that it's safe.
No, I know.
So I think,
I know that.
like, had we not gotten to where we got to last night, it didn't feel safe. And then we got to a place where I was like, okay, no, this is safe.
Yeah.
So I think now that we
it
have
felt
that-
safe for me
to
the
you.
whole
It
time.
felt
Yeah,
safe to me.
it felt safe to, and maybe because I was really having a conversation
With her, and they've known each other
we've
for
known
16
each other
years.
for
Yeah,
16 years.
right.
But I'm saying that even though it didn't feel safe for like in that moment, it was still a safe environment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it didn't feel that way, and I understand why it didn't feel that way. But that didn't change the fact that that was a safe environment. And the proof of that is because we ended up where we ended up. Because if it
Yeah.
wasn't a safe environment, we wouldn't have landed where we landed. That's just a fact.
That's what I'm saying, though.
You know
like,
what I mean?
Like,
In your mind, it didn't start
right,
that
but
way.
it didn't start that way. But I
Yeah.
saw
And I
it get
think that's
that.
because of your relationship too with us.
I think
Like,
you were having an experience with me while I was having an experience with her. And
Well, I think
that
too, I was having an experience with her because I was sitting right next to Shekinah,
Yeah.
and I could feel that she felt like there was
Uncomfortable,
nobody on her side or like nobody supporting her, and I could tell that what you were trying to share was not landing for her, and that she was feeling attacked, even though that wasn't your intention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I felt called to try to support her in that way, because I felt like she needed support.
and what my experiences, I have said this to you 20
And right,
different
and I've
times.
never,
Right,
So now we're at the
never
place
been
as
a part
your
of that
friend
conversation.
of 16
It's like, what's
years.
going on?
Yeah.
What is
Right.
going on?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
But
right.
for people who
Okay,
don't
it's not
know,
that bad.
No.
y'all.
No.
It's like, what is going? It's just like, not that bad.
That's how I said it, though.
So
I'm saying that's
I
how
feel like
it
people have
was.
no idea what we're talking about.
They don't.
It doesn't
But
matter.
they can read between the
Yeah,
lines.
it does.
No, yeah.
I mean, I'm
the
just,
detail
but I'm
of
saying
the
that
conflict,
with-
but
because of it, they're like you were saying earlier, everyone was having their own experience.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that because we landed where we landed, we were all safe the entire time.
because we
were
all had
safe.
that intention,
Yes.
like our hearts wanted to land.
Yeah.
there.
So I think I'm just for our audience to know the difference of safety and just uncomfortability
And healthy
is
conversation.
knowing the results of it.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're constantly having negative results with
Or
your
no
friends, there's
resolution.
no resolution, then yeah, it's probably not a safe place.
Ooh, I just
but
got
if you're
triggered.
having, do you know what I'm saying? But if you're
I
having,
just got triggered.
Yeah.
you did just now,
Yeah.
She's like,
just a second.
Yep.
She's probably thinking of
Yep.
what you just said. Like if you constantly having those conversations with no
Oh,
resolution.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what that's like.
Yeah. I know
But-
what you're talking about.
But
Yeah.
I think that that's just something to keep, an eye out for, is like if you're in a group of friends and there's never any resolution, then it's probably not it's not a fit for you.
It's unhealthy.
Yeah, it's unhealthy.
Toxic.
Yeah, it's just not a good fit. But don't take being uncomfortable as not being safe if you are getting to a place of a resolution.
Yeah.
And
Being
if that is
better and
the
understanding.
results, then
Yes.
but that's okay to be uncomfortable.
And it takes both parties to want to get to a resolution.
Yeah.
Everybody had to want that last.
Everybody.
Right.
Even Imani
Exactly.
and Jordan. For them to be the babies of the group, they were
Yeah.
trying to explain, like,
Yeah.
no, like they were objectively trying to look at it with knowing everyone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I
Jay
see.
even said it. She was like, I've known you. She
Yeah.
I know you.
Yeah.
Navigating with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. But I just
cute.
thought that was just a
Shout out to Baby
good,
Jay.
I'm so
Healthy
happy
community.
that we did that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that we weren't afraid to, you know, lean into that uncomfortable moment.
Yeah. And I think that's for y'all out there, that's why we are where we are with our
Yeah.
team and our friendships. Like y'all too, y'all 16 years, us too. We do it privately, and
Yeah.
like Megan said, you
That's
have to
crazy.
It's crazy.
The relationships here, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
and the work.
Yeah.
The
And I
work.
think that's the other thing too, is bringing, because we kind of have all these like pairs, and we realized this after the show.
That was so cool.
Because Shekinah's sister was like basically assisting her the
Yeah.
entire time, and Jazz and Frankie had each other, and
Shout out to
Imani and
Imani
Baby
and Jordan
J,
had each
yeah.
other, and we had each other. So there's these
Twos.
tight knit pairs, and then when you bring that all together, it's like, okay, well, I know this person. This is my person. I have it relate, but like trying to bring it all together where now we all know each other.
Each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And blending it all together, which I think people don't think is a possibility
Yeah.
for women.
Yeah.
But we're
We're
proving
doing it.
that
And
it
it's
is.
so seamless. Like it was so seamless. And obviously like we've met Shekinah multiple times
Yeah.
now and like have met Baby J and Imani, but like for all of us to go on a vacation together and just like
be
want
fine.
to be together and like have a good time together, even though we're all so different and
Yeah.
party differently, stay awake differently, want to get
I'm
dressed
like,
differently.
yes. Megan was
eat
like,
differently.
shots last night. I was like, I have one eye open.
Frankie said, fine.
I was laying on the shade.
Yeah, because what you don't know is
Get
Frankie
up.
was lit the night before,
Lit.
trying to make.
Lit.
She was passing shots left and right.
Jazz.
Yes,
was
the night
shaking
before.
ass.
We went and got alcohol.
No,
remember?
then when you fell asleep.
No.
I'm talking about out here in the hot tub when
Patron,
all y'all
babe.
went to sleep. You were lit that night. You were lit. She was lit. When we in the
I'm like,
theater
that was
room.
not lit for me.
But I'm
She
just
was like, you haven't seen
You-
anything yet.
There
She
are
was like, you
layers.
were lit. Frankie's
But I'm
like,
saying she was totally different than she was last
for
night.
sure.
She was
That
just
was for
laying
sure.
out.
Yeah, she was
she was
tired.
tired.
At this
She was
point,
tired.
She
I'm a
barely had a
sleepy
voice.
person,
Yeah.
so
But
I have
also
a voice too.
I feel like we're like 4 days in and
fumes.
Yeah.
like whew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
tired. We have not slept more than like 4 or
4
5
hours.
hours
Yeah.
for like a
I
week.
think we're
Lay
all
on that
still seriously on a high. I don't think we've come off of it yet.
I don't, but that's what I'm saying. It's because of this trip. I think
Yeah.
if we went
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
home, we would have jumped right back,
back
into
into
life.
work. Yeah.
But I love that we have given, that you guys gave us the opportunity, and that collectively we had the opportunity to reflect together.
Yeah.
And I think we have now started to create a stronger foundation for what's to come.
Yeah, for sure.
sure.
I think it definitely makes us stronger as a team.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
and it takes a team to run it. It doesn't take just me and B's
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
to make this successful. But it takes our team having a healthy relationship with each other to make it successful.
And us
that's
trusting
just
them.
the foundation of what KFS is.
Yeah.
Like, it's those platonic relationships.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not just like, oh, it looks beautiful on Instagram. And like, yes, we went to like a nice restaurant and we had nice dinners, but it was the community within each other.
Yeah.
You know,
And
the
love.
sisterhood. It
Just
was
like, I got your back. Like, no
Yeah.
weird
Yeah.
intentions or just like bad
Exactly.
energy. It's just, it feels perfect.
Yeah.
Aligned.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah.
Yeah.
aligned.
Yeah.
And I
Right,
think
aligned.
that is like the true value of this trip.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's beautiful. Like it's been fun eating, drinking, and having a good time, but it's
bonding.
not, it's been the bonding. Exactly. Like we're
Yeah.
not here just like partying to like party. We're
Yeah.
just enjoying each other's company.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we're going to be the first to do and show the world a lot of things. And I think this is a huge part of that because this is so, you don't do this in the industry. Women can't work together.
Yeah.
It's like all these rules
Yeah.
of statistically, it doesn't work, but it can if you do the personal work and
Yeah.
the work. You
Yeah.
have to do the work and design.
Yeah.
Both parties have to want it.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what we were saying. Like it wouldn't work if we didn't.
It wouldn't.
Right.
You know what I'm
wouldn't.
saying?
It
It
just
just
wouldn't.
wouldn't work. Like
Yeah.
if we did not do the actual work individually as a team, collectively, it would not work.
100%.
It just wouldn't. That's not like the fabric of our brand is, you know, the self-awareness, having a relationship, a spiritual relationship with God, what that is.
Yeah.
And then your platonic relationships. And if we're not actively working on that outside of this would be a
It
shit
would
show.
never work.
Jazz prayed for the first time last night out loud.
It was like the
dinner.
first
And it
beautiful
was
thing.
so beautiful.
Oh yeah, that was my
last night.
first time.
Frankie's like,
That was
So prayer.
Jazz
hit it.
that was a lot of pressure because I feel like every time you guys pray, they're so good and I love them so much. But
Yours was
Yours
so
was
good.
great.
So
Just
good.
talk from the heart.
It was beautiful.
gotta run it
And
back.
you didn't
I don't
know we
even
were
know what I
live,
said.
and everyone was like, "Oh, Jazz, that was
No,
so
but it
sweet."
was just
And then I was alive. I was like, oh my god, so much pressure.
But that was the
was
first time
great.
you ever prayed out loud?
Ever. I mean, I'm
Wow.
sure when I was little. I don't remember ever, but like
like in a
as an
group
adult
setting,
or
yeah.
as a teen, never,
Yeah.
That's
never.
tight.
Yeah,
That's good prayer.
thank you.
She's like, and just watch over all of us.
She's like, thank you for this amazing food and this view.
How did it feel though to pray?
How did it feel?
Yeah.
I mean, it felt natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I think the difference is that we've had conversations like that and I've given like toasts and stuff, but I've never made it intentional that it's a prayer.
Yeah. Like,
You know, I've set
Jesus' name.
intentions,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I have never done it in like a prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could feel the difference.
Yeah.
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 It was cute.
I
The
liked it.
prayer was cute. But y'all, we're out here and we are going to do a retreat with y'all.
Yes.
We already talked about that,
Ooh,
but
get ready.
are we gonna have something on the landing page just
Yeah.
for you to check out?
So if you go to the website,
theknowforsure.com.
yeah, theknowforsure.com, we'll have a button on there where you can get more information on the retreat, sign up to be one of the first people
Yeah.
to
I feel like we're
know
gonna have
for
to-
Where do y'all want to
sure.
go?
And you have to be on Patreon to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Only
think we should
Patreon.
have
Well,
a
no,
waiting list,
Patreon's
too.
going to be get first access,
Yeah.
Well, it's
but
gonna
there
be
can
on.
be
It's
a
gonna
wait
be on.
list.
Yeah.
You
It's
have
gonna
to
be
be on
on.
Patreon to go.
Right. But if you want to sign up
Yeah, but
and
if you
we
wanna
if we
I'm
want
like,
to
you got
open
it.
up our email list
Okay,
to get
you're
people to
right.
sign up,
Right.
you
to
can
the
do it on
website.
our
Go to the
website.
Go to the
open
website.
to
www.
I definitely think we need to have a waiting list. Like I think people
Yes.
just
That's
you know
tight.
you
Just
know
to get
how
the
we
information.
people like bought tickets to the show
Right, and couldn't make it.
couldn't even go
Mad
just because
people.
they just wanted to get it. Just
Make
in
sure they
case.
have their
FOMO.
ticket.
We're gonna
Yeah.
have to do like a waiting
Yeah.
list. Like
Yeah.
if something happens and
Yeah.
someone can't go,
We can
somebody else
give
needs to take that
somebody
spot.
else an
That's not
opportunity.
fair.
Yeah.
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 That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Ooh,
we,
this
but-
retreat,
Yeah.
you guys. The way that we got off the
my
stage
goodness.
on a jet and started planning a whole
Sing the
retreat.
song,
Hop up the stage
Run it
and
back.
hop on the jet. Literally.
yeah,
But it's gonna
that's what
be
it's gonna be.
crazy.
Yeah. It's gonna be
cool,
just
though.
like
And
that.
we unintentionally have began the blueprint of our experience and how we were able to communicate and share and bond
Yeah.
and how other people are going to experience the same thing and
Yeah.
the growth and the intentions.
Courses.
And
Yeah,
Yeah.
literal courses. Yeah,
How to travel with your team.
how to travel
Like,
with
you know
your
what?
team.
Like literal courses.
Yeah,
How to.
how to build a solid team.
it's how to have a relationship with your
Yeah,
team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that really does set me and B apart from a lot of people is that we are very like our team matters to us, not just for the business, but as people.
Human
Do
as
you know what I
human.
mean?
Not just paying somebody to do a job.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I
Frankie.
feel like you
Frank-
all
yeah.
want to create opportunities for us and like understand what's
Yeah.
important to us,
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
if there's anything that you can do to support us in that way,
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah. Even like when Frankie was sick, right as we were planning for the show, it was like a week before.
Yeah.
For people to be like, is Frankie okay?
Yep.
Everyone
I
on the
know.
call is like, is she doing all right?
Kinda
She,
text me
you
all
know
the
what I
time.
mean?
Like, I
That
haven't
like
eaten in
that people
days,
don't
thank
do
you.
that
Yeah.
in business
Yeah.
relationships. It's like, oh, okay, well, send her the notes.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
But the-
even like, what do you want to do? Like, she has a whole matcha line. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, there's no reasons those shouldn't be in the gift bag.
Yeah.
Like, still incorporating each other's
I-
passions.
Yeah.
I do want to
in
bring
this.
up the point that I feel like was a major point that from the hot tub was when you were like, this is happening for KFS, but I wasn't
Ooh, that was
considering
good.
Yeah.
that Megan, that was
great.
such
That's
a good
good.
That was
point.
great.
And I felt like that's exactly
Unpack
what
that.
was frustrating me in that moment. But I didn't have, and again, I don't always have, I know that communication and articulation is my gift, but I don't always know how to do that for myself.
Yeah.
And so when she said that, I'm like, that's exactly right. Like, yes, I'm KFS, but I'm also Megan
Ashley.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, this was a win for KFS, but this also really impacted me, or at least I wanted someone to. Well, I mean, I just
Or
wanted
just
someone to
acknowledge
know
it.
that,
Yeah.
like, yes, it was a win for me, but I'm also it felt like I'm carrying that, even though it was a win
All
for us.
65 boxes.
You know
on
what I
my
mean?
back.
Yeah, on my back.
In my
You know,
house.
65 boxes.
it's like 67.
Yeah, 60
She's like 67.
Frankie's like, what?
it was
Son of a
wild.
nutcracker.
Yeah, they were like little, but they were little, you know, because the
still,
books were
that's a
little, but it was a lot
lot.
of
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah.
So then when the second shipment
And
came
for
in,
whatever
I was like,
reason, I thought one box.
no, it was 67
Like,
boxes.
but that goes to show where our minds were.
Yeah.
Where it was we were so focused on
were, like,
KFS and
laser-
everything that needed to happen for KFS and all of the wins and solutions and things that needed to happen for KFS.
Yeah.
That we forgot, or I forgot, or didn't think about how is what's happening with KFS impacting the
people
owners
involved.
of
Yeah.
KFS.
Yeah.
Because even though this is a positive and a win for here, I was like this, like solely focused on
Yeah.
KFS and not considering Megan as a human with 68 boxes in her
And 3
living room.
kids and
Yeah,
a house,
I
my
think,
home.
yeah, I
Like,
think
was
it was more
chaos.
like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not that I needed anyone to do anything about it. I just wanted someone to be
Acknowledge it, yeah.
and be like, "Yo, thanks for holding it down with
Yep.
the boxes at your house."
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, and it wasn't about needing, and I think that's a big thing for me. It's not that I need you to fix anything.
just
I don't need you to do anything.
Yeah.
It's just like the acknowledgement of like it
I see
all.
you.
It
Yeah, I
exists.
see
you.
Yeah. I see what you're doing over
But
there.
that
Thank
was
you,
a
player.
major
Yeah.
like
That was
takeaway for me.
But what's
in that
interesting
conversation.
is that we felt the same way. We both needed the same thing from each other. You needed acknowledgement from me, and I needed acknowledgement from you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just in different
when
ways.
I communicated how I was feeling about the boxes, you said, "What can I do?" And I said, "I just needed you to know so that you can do whatever." But what I should have said is, I just needed you to acknowledge
Yeah.
that it wasn't your intention, but I was being impacted this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that then turned into, well, then I learned
Yeah.
that I saw it as positive, but it might have not positively affected you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
I
That
think
was a
it
good
was
takeaway.
I think too sometimes what was happening in that specific moment was I didn't want to get into again, because you brought something to me, I don't feel like that's my opportunity to be like, well, you made me feel. I hate when people do that. Like, if I'm bringing something up to you, that is not your
It
opportunity.
almost feels like a tit for tat.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm not.
justifying
Well,
it.
if you felt that way, you bring that up on your own time. Don't bring it up with me.
Yeah.
This is my time.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm bringing up an
I
issue.
think
Right.
there's a balance in it, though. Like, I
Yeah.
think acknowledging and validating the other person's
Yeah.
experience or what they're saying, and then saying, "Yeah, I can see why you would feel that way.
Yeah.
I was also feeling this way too." So,
But
can
I was
see where
looking
we-
at it from the point of we're getting ready to try to do a live show. Is it important to try to?
It is though.
I know, but for me, I'm like, that was the process
were
in my
in-
head.
yeah.
I'm like,
You were,
is
like,
it more
trying to-
important
you were
to
kinda,
tell
like,
her
picking your
about all the
battles.
ways I'm offended by you?
Yeah.
Or is it best of me to just say, I don't want you to have a negative experience. Please tell me how we can have a better experience.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
I need everyone focused on this show.
Yeah.
Right.
That was what was going on in my head.
Yeah.
And that's me still trying to navigate. I haven't been the boss.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right,
mean? I
right,
haven't had to
right.
think on the boss's level. I've always had to just think of
assist and help
and you know,
support.
the
Yeah,
support, and
yeah.
not so much of like, okay, leading in that
Yeah.
way. Like I didn't want. I'm like, I want everyone just to be focused on that.
Yeah.
How I feel isn't more important to me than what we need to accomplish
Right now in this moment.
and that wasn't for me the time to be like, okay, well then
Yeah.
and this and
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
this and that. It was just like, for what? She's impacted negatively, acknowledge it, and how
Acknowledge
can I
it.
fix it?
Yeah.
That was what was on my head.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's also finding a way to articulate, like, I acknowledge that. Is it okay for me to bring up or to express that how that impacted me as well? Like, I know that you brought this up, but is it okay for me to express how,
Yeah.
you know, I feel at least opening up for that
Yeah,
conversation?
exactly.
Yeah.
I think the approach and delivery so that it lands for that person is so important.
Yeah.
Like, how can I
Goes
say
back
this
to
in a
knowing
way
your
that this
person, yeah.
person doesn't
Yeah.
feel like I'm popping off on them and that they still feel seen and respected and like I'm loving them through this.
I think that's the
Because
biggest
at the end of the
thing.
day, it's the most important thing is that it lands for that person so you can get to a solution.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that it's a hard skill to acquire, where I'm communicating not because I need to just get things off my chest, but because I want you to hear me. I'm not communicating to talk. I'm communicating to be heard. Those are two different things. When you talk to talk, you're not being heard. When you talk to be heard, you need to do it intentionally.
Which is why I feel like I'm so quiet, because I'm not, if I don't know what I want out of that conversation yet, if I don't even know what I want out of that, then me talking is just talking.
Figure it out before you try to figure
I'm
it out.
not,
before
you know what I'm
the
saying? It would be,
conversation.
I'm just talking. I'm just saying things just to be saying it for the sake of a conversation. But if I don't know, and for me, that takes a process. For B, it may not take a 3-day process, but for me, it's like, I need a process. Because what do I really, and we had that before, where it's like, I need a minute. Because I really need to be able to articulate
That's interesting
what
that
this
you two
is.
are the same in that
Even
way.
just saying that, that's something that I practice doing. Like I'll say to Jazz, I'm like, I need a second to process this. Like things are getting heated between us. Like let's take a moment and we're different in that way. She's like, no, we need to talk now. And I'm
Talk
like,
through it,
No, but when she says that, I'm like, okay.
yeah, I'm just like,
Yeah.
look, this is kind of we're butting heads right now and
Yeah.
we're not hearing each other.
Yeah.
So let's just take a moment and then we can reconvene and come back
Yeah.
together. Like I need some time to process this.
Yeah.
Right now my emotions are like this and I know what I'm going to say and this energy is not productive.
And because you realize as you grow and elevate and mature, you realize that the origin of that trigger or that feeling has nothing to do with that person.
I was just about to say that you realize a lot of the way you communicate, just like Shekinah said, it's from childhood.
Absolutely.
And it's still like
that sets the groundwork for how
Everything.
you communicate what you're
100%.
afraid
how you
of.
feel.
Yeah.
Why
Like,
you're not speaking up, why
in
you
certain
are
situations, I be
popping
feeling like
off.
that
Like,
little girl.
Yeah.
And that's
so
why
many
it's,
ways.
that's why it's
was
also
biting your nails
important to
off.
know your triggers.
The whole time.
I'm like, Jesus, let's just love each other and be happy.
I know B was like,
Fighting, going
What is
at it.
happening? He was in the corner just like floating
I
around
was-
in the
I
pool.
was-
Megan's like,
and
shut
that was like,
up.
everything was making sense though. My duality ass. I'm like, I get it. I get it. Everybody's right.
I understood both for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, go ahead.
I was just about to say, of course, I have more understanding of my person, just like Baby J might even have more understanding in certain ways because she lives with Megan.
Yeah.
I've never lived with her. I've never seen her go through things that Baby J has seen for 2 years. You know what I mean? Even I don't know that.
Yeah.
So of course she's gonna have more.
But I think it was
understanding or-
also a light bulb for her in many ways to see
Yeah, I think that-
me, to see like our interaction with each other from like how she saw me on the outside of a situation where she
Yeah.
usually sees me on the
She saw
inside of a
herself in-
situation.
Yeah.
And I think in those moments she
saw
was like,
herself in me, and then she saw,
and both of
Yeah,
us,
yeah,
I think she saw it in both of us, and I think that
and her
because she
experience was so
knows-
different.
Yeah,
Right.
but she was able to. I think in that time she was able to understand me
she was.
in that moment more than she was able to understand me before because she's inside of the situation. But
She
when
was
she
looking at it
came
from the
outside,
outside.
she was like, now I understand.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what she felt very like, I need to speak up for her because I understand it now. I think she was seeing it.
Yeah. It clicked.
Yeah. And I just think that that's important to expose, your family, because I don't consider you guys, when we say the team, I mean, it's our family. This is our family.
Yeah.
And so,
Or like supporting someone in articulating what they might not be able to articulate in
themselves.
more of a like objective way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like not more emotional.
yeah. I think just being able to say, like, although I can sit on a podcast and articulate things, your friend doesn't always know how to do that for herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your friend can do that on a camera. Your friend can do that on a podcast maybe. But your friend is also experiencing things that they have no clue about that y'all do.
Yeah.
And I need y'all to be, like when I was like, sometimes I just need someone to be my voice for me, even if I don't know what it is, you know? And having that level of
He was like,
awareness.
I feel like I do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
trying. I mean, she puts
for
in
sure.
the work
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
it
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it can't just stop here.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
your
we
team
all
is
have-
involved
yeah,
and your
yeah.
family is
Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
it has to
And
be the family.
I think because you are able to be her voice sometimes that means that you're going to have to let us know, like, hey,
Right.
she
Which
needs
is
it.
what I
She
was
needs
saying.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Meg, I got the call today. Do what you got to do. We jump on. She's not going to be on today. Instead of Megan feeling like she has to be on a call when she has so much going on that day.
Yeah.
You know?
And vice versa. And that's really for
Yeah.
anybody.
Right.
If anybody
Yeah.
feels that way,
Yeah.
you know, you'll be like,
sure.
Jazz won't be on the call today.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Frankie's
Yeah.
not going to
Yeah.
be on the call today.
Yeah.
That's for all of
But
us.
you guys
okay.
don't do that like ever.
No, we don't.
No.
And I think
we
you
don't.
guys have to allow yourselves to be able to and
Yeah.
trust yourselves to
Yeah.
be able to share that. And when we send the minutes, you'll know what we were talking about.
For sure. For
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring it back to the live show because I had an epiphany that how we've been in communicating and intertwining in our relationships and bonds on this vacation, we did it in real time on walkies, not knowing.
God.
Wild.
I don't think they know.
No, the walkies.
The walkies.
Yo, like this is the first time we have all
We
put
missed it.
on.
I feel like we should have had a walk.
This
we
no,
missed
you
it.
would have been
Yeah.
stressed.
No, you would have
out.
been
We had a
stressed.
walkie, we would have pulled it out of our
You
ear,
would have
literally.
thrown that
'Cause
on
I
a
was
wall
no
and
way.
lit it
I was
on
trying to
fire.
To me, saying what?
I was like,
I
what are they
feel like I because of my intention the
Where you
entire
were?
where I
Yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah. Where you were
it would
mentally?
have been very interesting for me. Like
Just to
I
hear.
would have just listened.
Oh,
Yeah.
if we
I
had
feel
that
like you would have been
recorded,
stressed.
no,
because
that one would have been stressed. I would have been.
no,
I
you would have
was
been. No,
very,
she
like,
might have
I
not
get
been stressed. She would have been pissed.
pissed.
Just
Yeah, it's
listening.
more
Like,
pissed.
is nobody?
But I
But you would have been
Nobody has that
distracted. It would have
yet?
been a
Nobody knew that?
distraction.
Right.
For
was-
sure.
it
Nobody thought of that before?
No,
Yeah.
but
Literally,
No,
literally.
there were tons of
getting
moments
heated.
like that.
and she just let it work out.
There
No,
were.
she didn't jump in.
There were no.
Only
No.
a little bit that you knew.
Megan.
No, I'm saying
But-
though, from the beginning of planning for this, I
Yes.
understand what you guys are saying, but I'm saying that from the beginning of planning for this, there have been tons of those moments for
Yes.
me.
Yeah, we
that
know.
but I'm just sitting back watching, like I was saying, I wanted to see.
You're taking inventory.
Yes, I wanted to see it.
Trust
Like,
me,
I just
that
wanted to-
inventory did not need to be taken at all. Like because I feel like I'm the same way. But I do share and I communicate. But there's a lot of shit I don't.
Yeah.
Like for as much as I share, there's also a lot of things that I don't.
Yeah.
Even for as much as I've shared the last couple of days, there's a lot of things where I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna let it play out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay attention,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
just like the entrepreneur in me.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
can't help but notice everything because I think you and I are similar, where we're extremely detail oriented, and I'm noticing everything: the banner, the thing, the sticker, the adhesive,
Yeah.
like everything, the holes,
Yeah.
like the cracks, the dust, whatever. So.
The list goes on.
But I think back to the positive of that like situation, the fact that we had not done that ever together before and produced a show for 1,000 people, and that the team was the production team, and that we
Wild.
entered that on
Yeah.
in one day, and we're
felt
just
like
like,
that.
okay,
Like, it felt
and
like-
it was like a well-oiled machine,
it was.
even though the car was breaking down and
Yep.
we didn't have parts
were
for it.
putting
We're
that
like,
tire back
we know
on,
how to
babe.
push it.
Changing the oil.
We were like, oh, we got to go buy some oil. Okay, you're going to go get this. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything. It was
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
everything.
And our relationship still remained intact. Like
Yeah.
no one was
100%.
No one was
arguing or
disrespectful.
like
There was no
disrespectful,
condescending. Like,
Yeah.
that was something I spoke to Jazz about that
Yeah.
day. I'm like, this is something I appreciated so much because usually in these types of productions,
It's
there's at least
stressful.
Even
one person
smaller
or a
productions.
few people
Yeah.
that can be nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think being able to still have that level of respect and like not speaking down to someone in a chaotic
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
shit isn't
Yeah.
going how it's exactly
That was
supposed
so
to.
big.
It's still
Yeah.
like lifting each other up. I'd run into you. I'd be like, "Do you need anything?"
Yeah,
I
we
got
like
you.
hold hands real quick, like good. Yeah.
She'd be like, "Frank,
Yeah.
can you hold my walkie? When I come back, give me my phone." I'm like, "I got you. Let's
yeah.
go."
Bet.
it was
It was
Yeah.
just love and
tight.
family.
Yeah.
So much love.
Yeah.
that
It
was
felt
my
like that,
favorite
though.
part.
It was.
Yeah.
It felt like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? Everyone else felt it.
Yeah.
People were impacted by the whole team and just how everyone's like,
Yeah.
everyone looks like you're going through a lot, but you still have so much poise and grace.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
They
It was
saw
felt
y'all
throughout.
working together.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I was telling Frankie what was crazy is we were not together once.
No.
No.
Like we were
I'd
all over
finally
the
run into
place.
Jazz and I'd be
I'm like, hey, where have you been?
I haven't seen you in so long.
So we experienced the show completely differently.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, she
Spent
was
a
more
lot of
backstage.
time.
Where were you?
I was following Aaliyah.
Oh,
the whole time.
She's like, I'm
You
being
were.
Aaliyah's voice.
She said every time Aaliyah like, it's okay. She would remember her like,
no,
no, it's not.
No, she was.
No, because Aaliyah needed the most help.
Yeah, she did.
And there were
Yeah.
just so,
She
and I
killed
wasn't
it.
even with her the whole time.
killed
Like
it, though.
I would
Shout out to
follow her
Aaliyah.
around, and then I would take something off of her plate, and then I would get stuck doing something else. Be like, no, we got to do this, and we got to do that.
Yeah.
And
Shout out to
I just
Aaliyah.
feel like that's
Shout out to Aaliyah.
seriously,
Shout out to
Aaliyah held
Goat.
it
Love you.
down.
Yeah, she held it down.
Oof, she held it down.
May too.
May.
Her
May.
energy and her spirit is
so
just
sweet.
Amazing.
Her little voice, she's like,
Yeah.
all right, cool, we got it. Okay, cool.
Oh, her on the headset though.
Everything.
Go, 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 go.
Really?
No. When you guys ran it back and had to play the song over again, and you know how there was like a little bit of a delay. No, but she was as soon as you guys started, she was like, now. But like it's a lot to
a
do in
production.
real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's a production.
And I think what like for us and the team, we've done production like photo shoots, video shoots, but a live show for the first
It's so
time
different.
with a completely different
Yeah.
experience
Different,
and
babe.
setup and VIP and photo booth merch, like every single aspect from top to bottom was
so
brand
detailed.
new.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah.
From
And
the-
everyone fell into their rightful place too.
Yeah.
Like, I think that everyone was able to see like how it could be perfected.
Yeah.
I think
Where everyone's role.
and everyone was willing to fill in the gaps where needed, even if it
sure.
wasn't,
Wasn't their
even if they
role.
weren't the
Wasn't
right
their role.
shape for that gap.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
filled it to the
Yeah.
best of their ability.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
it. I loved
Yeah.
seeing that whole thing. Like watching it play out. I love seeing
And
the whole
I
thing.
feel like because the team filled in the gaps, it exposed where there's gaps that can't be filled.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Like, you're
Yep.
perfect for this. We
Yes.
need you for this.
Yeah.
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 And it exposed the cracks.
Yeah.
It exposed
Yeah.
areas that
Where we need to work.
okay, so you didn't have that together.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. And
Yeah.
they confirmed we can do this.
Yeah.
All this.
That was my biggest. I was ready to run it back
Right.
at
No,
5
I think
a.m.
we all were.
Yeah.
Like,
we
let's
were
do it
like,
again.
we can legit do this.
We could have did a weekend.
We could have
in
hopped on
Atlanta.
the jet, came to Cabo, and did it
We
again.
could have did a weekend in Atlanta.
Yeah.
a whole nother show.
We could have did it.
I'm ready.
I'm glad that we did it the way it like I'm so
It was meant to
happy
be.
that everything happened the way it happened
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it needed to happen.
Yeah.
In that way, in that time, in that
Exact
moment,
way.
with those people,
Yeah.
with everybody involved.
Yeah.
Like it had to be that way.
Yeah.
And then it will be another way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a better
and
way.
better and better.
Yeah.
The bar
Each
will just
time.
continue to raise.
For sure. For sure.
Ooh, if this was the first one
Can you imagine?
That's what I
with the self-funded, self-produced,
Independent.
independent.
What women are like
asked that
seriously, bro. Like, no, I'm just saying, like, I'm not that. Y'all know me.
At
I am
all.
the least boastful.
No, when I be getting that, Megan be
person.
like, all
I'm
right,
like,
B,
relax.
relax.
But really though, like, I
but
do
you
have these
see.
moments where I'm like, stop playing with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't like
Yeah.
seriously.
Or
like,
we're
stop
really
playing
doing
with us.
something different for real, for real.
Yeah, like
for
that.
real.
different.
Y'all can try to act like it's a little podcast if you want, but y'all see it.
It's a movement.
Y'all
It's
see
a
it.
Movement, babe.
movement.
Culture.
That the guy from the radio station.
Oh, he
That was
so
great.
impacted.
He made a whole. He said, "I am not affiliated with these girls. I just want to let y'all know this was an experience to remember."
He said, "I witnessed a birth of a
No,
Did you
that's
guys
what Ben
see
said.
this
He said
comment?
birth of an impact.
What was this post at the end? He said, "Watch something unfold right
Right
before
before my eyes. Yeah,
something like that."
Chills.
Did you guys see this? Brittany Chill said, "To be honest, I didn't want to go. I was only there because my sister really wanted to go. I honestly have never watched an episode a day in my life, so I had no idea what to expect. Just sitting there and listening to you guys, I was thinking to myself, wow, this is the stuff that I really need to hear right now. I've been struggling and I just felt so lost with my life, like struggling. When you guys spoke about purpose and your next chapter, it really hit home for me. What solidified it for me was at the end when I opened up my notebook and seen your signatures, meaning I won the giveaway.
Wow.
I choked up and I was the only one.
I saw
Like,
her.
how?
Wow.
Didn't even want to
That
go.
was a sign I needed to know
That's
I was
crazy.
exactly where I needed to be so I could hear those words. You two spoke that night and and I really took it in. I'm grateful and officially a fan. Side note, I let my twin sister go up on the stage and hug you guys because she's been a loyal since day one.
So that was the girl that got the gift bag.
Yeah.
cry.
Isn't that
The one. I was like, where are the
how?
other two?
But the
that
way,
makes-
so there was supposed to be 3 and there was only 1 and it
Yeah.
was her?
Yeah.
Mind
That's
blown.
wild.
That
Yeah.
This
And she was
comment
all the
though,
way in the back row.
But that's
Yeah.
a common
That.
theme,
Yeah.
just like the girl
Yeah.
with the blue jay.
Yeah.
It's like
Yep.
that is the common
Theme. Confirmation.
Confirmation.
Through our platform.
It's like I was right
Yep.
where I
Where I
needed
needed
to
to
be.
be.
At
I
the
was
right
where I
time.
was supposed to be.
Alignment.
At the,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what we care about the most is that even if it was for that one person,
Yep.
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
all worth
Yeah.
it.
That was enough.
Yeah.
Like even if it was for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That from that day forward, that was a reminder that her life
Her
can be
seeds
different.
start planting.
Yeah.
She
Crazy.
starts changing it. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that's all that
planted the
matters,
seed.
bro.
It's enough.
Like that's
I
enough.
almost don't want to say this by mistake because it came out. But I'm like, could have saved a life.
Literally.
For sure.
No, for
For
sure.
sure.
For sure.
That's crazy.
For sure.
I know that that's what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that
Yeah.
we're doing that.
Yeah.
It's too, and it because it's too raw and authentic for it not to.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like this is not a script.
Right.
This is our real life.
You guys didn't know what you were going to talk
experience.
about.
Y'all, the day of, we were like, it's a live podcast. We're doing it like a podcast episode.
Yeah.
What do we want to talk about? What are we feeling right now? What are we going through? And we just got on stage and
Which
talk
is
about
even more
Insane.
wild.
Which
Wild.
is great. It's even more proof that we're doing the work
right-
when we're not here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we're not coming up with the outline and 4
Yep.
points that
Pop
we've
culture,
studied
whatever.
and looked
Yeah.
at facts
Yeah.
and
Talking about the
pulled
news.
articles. We are literally being like, go.
I'm about to
so
share my
today,
experience. Yep. Yep.
I got a fucked up attitude
Yep.
and I'm struggling.
Yep. Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then the next day it's like, yo, God spoke to me and what he said.
It's
you know what I'm saying? But
authentic.
that's what
Yeah.
it is.
It's authentic
Like,
to
it's
your
not
experience.
like-
Yeah.
I looked up
that's what
5
people
ways to find peace, and let's talk about these 5 ways. It's like, yo, you know
This
how I
is what
found
I
peace?
tried.
I blocked that nigga the other day.
Right. Or I cried in my prayer
You know what I'm
corner
saying?
and prayed.
Yeah, or prayed,
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
But
yep.
it's just genuine.
It's
It is
genuine.
just is what it is.
And it
I
makes
think
it
it's-
relatable.
it's
For
our
people,
experience
that's
in real
the
time.
human
Exactly.
experience.
We
Yes.
are sharing our
human
process in
experience.
real time. We're not sharing. I'm healed now. I'm
Right, the
successful
journey
now.
of it.
We're opening the curtain and
Yeah.
saying, "This is where I'm at right now,
Right
today. This is
Yep.
what I'm struggling with." Because
Yeah.
it's easy to see and be like, "Damn, you guys went on a PJ,
Yep,
went
yep,
to
yep,
Cabo,"
yep.
and you're like, "Yeah,
It's like,
but
yeah,
you don't
we
know."
also were fighting
yeah,
in hot tub for
right.
2 hours.
Seriously.
Right.
So, yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
For
That
sure.
too.
Like you're
both.
seeing
Yeah.
back to my seeds. Ooh. You
Back to
you see the flowers that have been planted flourishing, but
Right.
you don't see the tears that,
That were
took
watering
to
it.
water
water
it.
Yeah.
that freaking
Yeah.
flower.
And all
They
the
don't-
weeds
they
you had to
don't
pull
see it.
out.
That's good.
Jesus.
They don't see it. But you see the results of it for
Yeah.
sure. And you know
Yeah.
that those things are being
Yeah.
nurtured when no one's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was evident.
And that is the most beautiful thing, us sharing it in real time.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
they saw everything.
Everything.
The beginning, the first show, the finding Christ, the divorce, you get what I'm saying?
They saw it
walking
all.
through it all. Like that's cool. Wow. Because in 5 years, all this stuff is out there. We're gonna be. It's a literal vlog.
Yeah.
Vault. Yeah. It's
Like
like,
we're gonna be able to go back and watch this stuff and be like, I cannot believe that's where we were when we first put out our podcast.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
that's
The
And this
evolution.
is where we start.
I know.
Oh my
that's what I'm saying. This is where we start. We're in
Like
Cabo.
this is where people. This is where people want to end up.
We're in
Right.
Cabo.
Like I'm sorry.
This is
What?
face.
Can we
We're
just?
in
crazy.
Cabo.
This is where
podcast.
where
this
people
is-
want to end up. That's easy.
And we're just, that's wild.
My one-liners sometimes be hit.
That was good.
Jazz is ready today.
She was.
But it shows you that there is no end point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's never
it
gonna
really
stop.
is your
Ever.
journey.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
your journey.
Yeah.
And just because we started a podcast 10 months ago or a year ago doesn't mean that it takes 20 years to end up where we ended up in a year. You know what I mean? Like
And it can take 20 years
It-
because
and
of the
it- or
seeds
it could-
we've been
yeah.
planning.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a year to y'all.
Yeah.
But this
A lot
is
of years of
3
obedience.
years of assisting. This
Yeah.
is 6 years of stand up on stage.
Yeah.
All of that was preparing for this.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's a year of podcasting, but it's
Yeah.
20 years of or
It's
13
like
years of
even-
parenting.
just even being able to watch you, like
in that capacity.
I've been able to subconsciously study what it's like to be on stage and how to prepare to be on stage because
You are
I
a
watched
natural.
her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
You're so natural.
You are
at it.
just
so comfortable.
yeah.
like
I
calm,
was
cool,
literally had a
collected.
moment where I was looking at her. I was like, this is so cool. Like she was just like this.
Chilling.
Yeah. I was like, this is tight.
What's funny though, I think
cool
what's
looking at her like
What's
that.
crazy
I'm
though
like,
is I think
what am
now
I
that
nervous
you
for?
have a partner on stage with you, I see
Thank
you
you,
differently.
God.
She's
though.
so different.
But I
So
see you
different.
differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How?
I just feel like you're more vulnerable.
Yeah.
Really?
You've always been super vulnerable, but
And
I
it's
think
different. I'm not
no,
up there
for sure.
like doing
Stand up.
sucking dick jokes.
Yeah.
I'm up there like, God save me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a different. I feel different though. It doesn't feel like I'm doing stand up or.
It's
But
the
it doesn't feel like
safety.
entertaining.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
you're not up there being an entertainer.
Yeah.
You're up there being
Braylon.
Braylon.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That's cool.
She is. She
Yeah.
definitely is Braylon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool because I feel like I have more of my 6th grade best friend now than I think that I did when we
crazy.
reconnected.
Wow.
Like I feel like I have my Braylon.
That's tight.
You know what I mean? Where I was reintroduced to you as B.Simone. You know,
Wow.
and now
That's
you're
crazy.
become more of Braylon.
Yeah.
The person.
Yeah.
The person like
Wow.
that 6th grade girl, that 12-year-old who just like loved God and
Yeah.
was just so open and
That's crazy.
you know, loving and bubbly. You know, I'm
Yeah.
experiencing
You know what
That
it
Braylon.
is?
Yeah.
Braylon has separated herself from the brand and allowed herself to not have to always be the brand.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
Well,
a character.
And I think
Yeah.
that because KFS doesn't feel like a brand to us, it feels so
Your
much
life.
like
our
the purpose.
life. Yeah.
That
Purpose,
it allows
yeah.
you to be your true, authentic
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that we want to give to everyone, is
yeah.
that when you find your purpose, you really get to be free.
Yeah. Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like you
Man,
don't have
man.
to put on.
Yeah.
And,
Nope.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like yes, there's sacrifices and yes, there's
Yeah.
things that you like. It's hard work.
Yeah.
It's not that it's that, but you are being you, doing
Yeah.
you, and not
Yeah.
trying to be
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, and the
Yep.
space and grace that opens up for you when you're just being authentically you.
Yeah.
And not
Yeah.
anything else.
That's good.
And that's why this works.
Yep.
Because we are
Yep.
authentically
Yep.
us.
And leaning
Yeah.
into whoever that person
even
is
when
in
it's
that moment.
Yeah, even when it's
Yeah.
not good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even when we have to stop the cameras and be like, this isn't working.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
We need to stop.
Right,
We're not
right.
we're not
We're
vibing right
dragging
now.
it.
We're
Right,
dragging
right,
it. Like
right.
even when it's ugly,
Yeah.
we're still being honest and transparent. And I think
Yeah.
that we're in a time where people are starving for that.
For that.
Oh yeah.
They're
Because
starving
we've
for
been
it.
fed artificial for so long.
Yeah.
And like polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And I
like
think there's-
perfection, but there's something so perfect about just being in the moment and being able to be authentic. Like
Yeah.
that's what people connect with.
Because they can relate to it. Because
Yeah.
they're going through the same shit.
Right.
Like they're just like me. They go through
Yeah.
all these things and they're able to talk about it, and then it inspires people to talk
Yeah.
about what they're going through and like feel like it's okay to not be okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And wherever you are, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that's what I felt the most in the room was like it felt like everyone felt like finally I'm with my people. I
was
can
like
just
freedom.
Be me.
It's go time.
I can
Literally
just like
my
me.
people. I can
just
be myself.
me.
Yeah.
I felt like every person in that room was just, this is who I am. This is my homie.
People were
Person I just met.
just
Yeah.
meeting.
So many people came alone.
that
met
Everyone
their
was
tribe.
the vibes were immaculate.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was
Something I never
electric.
experienced
And
ever.
as for as much as we were running around being crazy, I think we all just organically gave, like when people would come up to us, that was like shocking. When people were like,
know.
Jess, Frankie.
We saw your episode.
Yeah, and like
caught off guard.
giving them like having a moment with them,
Yeah.
even though like there's chaos going on, like being able to
Stop and
acknowledge
pause.
that they
Yeah.
acknowledged
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And yeah, and then but it was all so with so much love.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
everything was just happening with so much love. Everyone was so kind the entire time.
Yeah.
There was 1,000 people.
Yep.
And no problems.
Yep.
not
Not
one.
one.
That's crazy. Nobody got kicked out.
led by
Wow.
women of color. Think about that. Black
With a
women.
bar.
And I'm not even going to shy away from that. Black women.
That's crazy.
We do not get that reputation often when it's stuff like this.
It's about to be ghetto.
Crazy.
It's about
fighting.
to be ghetto. It's about to
she
be
looked at
this.
me wrong.
It's about to be.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
fact that we have cultivated an environment, and again, and we made that intention when we went to that sound bowl thing, we wanted our presence to be disarming. And I said that I was very intentional.
Yeah, you said that on
the experience.
past episode.
Yeah, I want that. I wanted people to feel, and we prayed about that. We were like, from the moment they drive on the grounds, whatever the property line
we want them to feel God.
We wanted them to feel the presence of God and that peace.
Yeah.
And everyone felt that.
Absolutely.
It was just love, peace.
Down to
like
the kids.
Yep.
Caleb.
our kids were. My son
Everyone's
is
just
autistic.
like, Halo.
My son is autistic.
He was on stage with
Chilling.
Megan
Dancing.
in front of 1,000 people cheering and roaring.
Screaming lights and music
Kicking
and
it.
this and that, and he was like unfazed.
He wasn't moving,
his
jumping, all up. You were right on his arm. I mean, on his shoulder. Arms around him, chilling. He was like, dude.
I'm like, for people who don't have autistic children, it's like, yeah, your kid, like,
Get it.
but when you know
Yeah.
what a miracle that is,
Yep, yep.
it is a testament of what we do when we're
Yep.
not on camera.
Yep.
We cultivated that,
energy.
environment.
Yep.
We prayed and fasted for that environment. I prayed and fasted that my kid was going to be able to come and see me on stage.
Yep.
I made, like, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
That is a testament to
Yep.
what we do when
Yep.
y'all don't see any of it.
Yep. The
And
spiritual work. Not
Yes,
just
man.
the physical, the working, the spreadsheets and the typing and the spiritual. No, seriously.
Seriously, it wasn't just about the organization of it all, but it was
Yeah.
about the spiritual
The
work
spiritual
that we
work.
did when nobody was watching.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that
we
made a
trusted God
difference.
too that day.
sure.
Yeah.
We were like,
Had
everything
to.
we've been doing leading up to this, he got it.
Yep. Had to.
Had to.
That's hungry.
Boy, oh boy.
That was
My
tight,
dad
though.
said, please eat a sandwich.
Jonah was so nice to me.
He was so sweet.
It was good.
Yeah.
We could
It was such a
probably do
great-
like a 7-part
Great show.
about
Literally.
how amazing this was,
Literally.
but you know, obviously shout out to you guys for
Yeah,
being
we love y'all.
and Imani and Jordan.
Baby
Yeah.
J, Monty.
I was just so grateful to be there, like, and to experience it, even in the running around and
Yeah.
like the chaos or like whatever was going on, like being able to take it in and like have those moments where I could see you interacting with your kids, like that was,
Yep.
it blew me away.
Yeah.
Like,
That was
I
the first
like,
time we met them.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
and your parents, your family, the this, I was just like,
God.
I
That
just want
prayer.
to soak in this feeling. I just had the chills constantly.
It's like you
and I
never
was
wanted
just
to
like,
leave.
I'm so
Yeah.
lucky to be here.
Yeah.
That moment was everything.
I'm like, I'm gonna cry. I'm like, I've said 2 words and then I start crying.
No, but it was
she?
special.
I pulled that
Yeah.
out of her.
Yeah.
She did.
She never
Special.
cried. Now she cries.
Really?
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It happens.
She's watering her seeds, okay?
Doing the work.
Doing the work.
Yeah.
Good.
But that was really special.
I think I told you guys this the other night. It's like you make these little steps in life and you keep feeling like you're obeying God, but you don't really know why you're doing what you're doing. And then you get to this moment and you're like, wow.
All of
It all
that
makes
was
sense.
for
all
this.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I was doing production at my church and I was like, why am I doing this? Like this makes no sense. And then the
Boom.
live show
Yeah.
all made so much sense. So
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She's
even the difficult times in life that you go through, you're like,
sure.
Oh,
now
God.
I understand. Like in the moment, I was like, I want to get out of this. Why do I have to go through this?
Why?
And then you
Why?
experience the person that you become as a result of
Yep.
it,
Yep.
of overcoming it and doing the work
Yep.
and healing and working on yourself. And you're
Yeah.
like, it all makes sense.
Yep.
Like
Necessary.
I am the
Yep.
way I am because of what
Because
I've
of
gone
this.
through.
Yeah.
It needed to
Yeah.
happen that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so it makes you have like grace for those moments, or in the moments you're like, okay, this is difficult, but it's happening for a purpose.
good.
For a reason.
Yeah.
So I get to just like be in it and let
Yeah.
myself go
Yeah.
through it
Yeah.
and know that it's for a bigger reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. I think it's
I love
important
y'all
to
so
surround
much.
yourself with the
So
with
blessed.
good people. I think that's just the
That's key.
That's just
and I think that's what
evident here.
Chain gang is
trust
too.
God to, if the person doesn't fit, let him go and trust that he'll bring somebody else.
Yep.
And
Yep.
he might bring that person back.
Yep.
Just like he brought Jay back. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
yeah.
trust God. This is not working, whatever, but don't be scared to let people go and
It's like
Yeah.
you're making
making room for who is
Yeah.
supposed to
Like-
be there.
Or not
Yeah.
even people, things about your
For sure,
Yeah.
things,
I was gonna
people,
say letting
places,
go,
and things.
letting go of
It's really
anything that
more-
doesn't align.
Doesn't
Yeah.
align.
Anything.
Whether
Yeah.
you gotta
Yourself.
move, whether you gotta let go of that small town
Yep.
you're in, with
Yep.
that friend,
The relationships.
that relationship.
Yep.
Let it go. Don't be so scared of the unknown that
Yeah.
you stay stagnant
man,
and don't.
That is so important. important.
What?
But even in the little things, because sometimes
little
God is
things.
like, I need to know that you're willing to get rid of even this,
That.
because when something big, I need to know that you're going to be able to get rid of that too. So I might be testing you and taking you
In
through
levels.
a season
Yep.
of, all right, get rid of
Yep.
this,
Yep.
get rid of that,
Do
get rid
that.
of this, because when it really matters,
I need you to listen to me.
I need you to be conditioned in the practice of listening and obeying.
Yeah.
That's what I said,
Yeah.
commit and submit.
Yeah.
Like you have to be in that
Yeah.
mindset,
Yep.
commit and submit.
Yep.
Whatever does not align
Yep.
with what the purpose is, I ain't afraid to let go of anybody
Anything.
or anything.
Anything.
I don't care who you are. If
Anything.
God say get rid of Jonah, he's out of there.
Peace out, man.
Play ball. You're out.
Jonah's like, why do you
Jonah,
always
why you gotta
use
use me?
for the negative examples? No, I'm just playing.
that's
But
my
I'm
baby.
serious though, like whatever it is,
Not being so
Eli.
attached to
yeah.
things or people or
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
And also, like, sometimes you can drift apart from something, and if it's meant to be, like,
It'll
maybe
come
you all need
back.
to just, like,
It will come
grow
back.
on your own.
Yeah.
And then if you're meant to be, you'll come back together.
Literally 10
If it's
years.
meant for you, it will be
10
for you.
years.
Easy.
10 years.
That's wild.
That's a whole other thing, babe. We have got to get packed
Yeah.
and get
Oh,
the
for
hell
sure.
up
Okay,
out of
love
here.
you.
Love you guys.
What do you
I
guys
am
know for
musty and
sure?
crusty.
I know. I am like sweaty.
So hot.
I've been
What do I know
playing
for sure? It is hot in
outside
Cabo.
with
No, for
Jonah.
It is hot in
What
here.
I know for sure is I can't wait to do this again.
Can't wait.
The live show.
Literally.
Yeah.
What I know for sure is we're gonna fucking kill it.
Yeah.
What I know for sure is we are a production company.
Okay. Purr.
Yeah, I'll
A
be saying that.
multi-billion-dollar
Billions.
production company.
Tyler Perry Studios. No, I'm just kidding.
Relax.
Love you, Tyler.
Yeah.
Tyler, if you want to come,
We can coexist.
Yes.
No, I know we can coexist. I'm kidding. Yeah, but
Well,
yeah.
what I know is that it was intentional and important to me when we started this to do this with women, and
and family.
yeah, and that has
Family.
been what we're doing it
For sure.
And I just love, like, that means
Yeah.
so much.
So
to me.
much. Yeah.
Down to the dang travel
Down to the
agent.
travel agent.
Shout out
What's
to
up?
Talia.
She back there eating celery
T World Tours.
on her
I'm here.
computer.
Planning the
Definitely
treat.
come
She's like, retreat coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that we've been able to do that and set the standard, and big things are coming.
Proud of us.
I'm not afraid, but I'm like, Lord, the second I
If
sit
he
at my
did
desk,
that,
Whoa.
I'm just thinking, like, what are my emails looking like right now?
they're crazy.
You don't have it on your phone and you haven't peeked?
I don't want
She
to
said,
do
I'm
that.
not looking.
We're on vacation.
Wow, the self-control.
We
What we
did,
did
yeah.
and what God did through us, and I
Yeah.
wanted to be like in this
Yeah.
time and not
Yeah.
so far
Yeah.
ahead. And even talking about future plans, we talked about it together, so it
Yeah.
felt different than
Yeah.
just like working.
It felt like manifesting. and,
Yeah, like
Yeah.
talk girl
Yeah.
talk, but
Yeah.
still work, not
Yeah.
like on a laptop.
Yes, I
Yeah.
didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good.
I'm like, I don't know. I know I'm tired.
I know, for
She's
sure.
like, this has been a long week.
I'm like, there's so many things I know for sure after this whole weekend and just the whole experience. What I know for sure is that alignment and purpose is always going to bring everything that you want.
Yeah.
And if you're not feeling that way, working on shifting to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Love
good.
that.
Good.
What we're saying no to is this damn couch that is
This
melting.
leather, my back is
My
stuck.
back.
We have
I'm over here like-
sacrificed our sweat backs.
I've been
have to
like
get in
this
the
the whole
shower.
time. I'm like,
Take a shower. Walk. No, we
Yes.
definitely got to rinse.
Yes.
Oh, I have to take
I'm
a
like,
shower.
jump in the pool.
For sure, like cold shower.
Yes.
Freezing.
I'm about to jump in this pool. Watch, it's gonna be hot today. The day I jump in,
It's
The
heated.
heater's on.
Well, we love you guys.
Love you
Another
guys.
episode of the No For Sure podcast with the team, Shekinah, JNF, I'm B.Simone.
Now, can we clarify that this is Frankie and this is Jazz?
Oh, J
Because-
and F is Jazz and Frankie.
It's like
and
J
just-
and F, but
Yeah.
it's J and F.
NF.
Yeah.
But this is Jasmine,
Jazz,
and
and
that's.
that's
I'm like, are you
Sometimes
clarifying
we
it to
are
them or
also
yourselves?
one
Because
both.
I'm pretty sure.
Both.
So I'm like,
I look at
everybody
Frankie and I
calls
be like, hey,
Jazz.
Jazz.
Yeah.
They
I'm
call
Frankie.
us each other's name so
Well, they
often.
sound. Y'all sound alike on the phone.
in person.
I know, but sometimes but she'll be behind
Like,
me.
it's
and I'm
like,
like,
Jazz, come here. I'm
Jazz.
like, Frankie, but it's fine.
No, for sure.
But we don't even get offended because
No.
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's cute.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Because we're the same person.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, love you guys.
Love you guys. See you next week. Sign up for Patreon.
Sign in for Patreon.
Love you.
Love you.
No, she said no.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Know For Sure podcast. Make sure you keep the conversation going and use our hashtag KnowForSurePod.
Yes, we want to see you guys share the hashtag KnowForSurePod on all social media platforms. We want to keep the conversation going.
And follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram and Twitter, KnowForSurePod.